Welcome to Lifestyles of the Strange and Exotic Random Book Review. And it's really sad how libraries kind of like want their books back after you take them. Why? I had to give up a book today that I only managed to get halfway through because I got distracted. I can't renew this like 16 times. Why? So, these are, well, this one and the next one are ones that I really kind of wish I could keep. And this one? Yeah, and this was in one of my favorite libraries that actually has good stuff. And this is Ancient Egypt, Tales of Gods and Pharaohs. And this I just sort of picked up on a whim because I was looking up things for like symbols, and just for ha-has I went into the kids section because sometimes the kids stuff have better stuff, you know, and it's more well done than what you'd find in like the adult, you know, section of the library. And I'm very impressed with this. And for a kid's book, it's really cool. And it goes retold and illustrated by Marsha Williams. And this is all on the different myths of ancient Egypt. The common ones that are mostly, well, like it goes Ra, the creation story with Ra, Isis and the Cobra, you know, Seth's whole thing, and Horus, which is kind of one, Isis, Seth, and Horus, that whole is like one large story arc. How Prince Tutmos came Pharaoh and the Sphinx, a little blurb on Hatshepsut. So it's such a cool thing. And on the bottom, there's Ra's cat, whose name I forgot now. Forgive me, kitty. And I love the artwork. And it's the okay. If we start from the beginning. In the beginning, there was only the deep, dark water of Nun. Then out of the water rose an island, and on that island stood Ra, the Shining One. Ra was the first god to stand on the land of Egypt. Now, there are different versions of the creation myth, where Atum, I think, was the creator god. This Atum, who was the self-creator, who just, there he was. And then from him, everything else was created. But here they're using Ra, maybe because people would obviously, everybody's heard of Amun Ra. Not many people know Atum, you know. And I love the cartoony temple paintings, or tomb paintings as they would have been. They're enough like the originals, but they're just a fun version. I can see like little kids who are learning to be scribes and temple painters and, you know, doing, you know, in the style before they really kind of got their stuff together. And here's the kitty. Rami was Ra's favorite. And here's Rami on the corner. And while the main stories are being told, Rami here's got her own little epic going down on the bottom, which is really kind of cool. So this is just a fun book to read, and you don't come across books that, well, you don't really have to simplify the stories, but, you know, share the stories of the ancient Egyptian myths. I haven't come across any. There's sure as hell not any in the library, my personal library, which is why I don't want to get these back. This is the story of Isis and the Cobra, which is how Isis learned Ra's name, and that's how she became so powerful. And then Seth, the whole story of how he killed his brother Osiris and why he's the lord of the underworld. And and they don't make it they don't dumb it down either. I mean, they do say that, okay, Osiris did die in the coffin where he ended up in a pillar in a palace and a thing. So, but they don't, it's not a dark thing, but they acknowledge that, you know, the bad stuff, you know. This is, I think Horus, yep. Horus fighting his uncle there. And it's a lot of detail in this book. And it's done in a very intelligent way. In a fun way, but it doesn't deter from the story any. So I'm like jealous this stuff is in my Hatshepsut and how she became queen, and how the myth of how the gods sort of impregnated her mother, so that's how she became legitimately queen and all that stuff. How the Sphinx became, how Tuthmos became pharaoh because he, took out the Sphinx from the sands. So all these are actual stories out of ancient Egypt, but done in such a fun way. Of course, they have King Tut in here, and it has come from the beginning to the end. And Mu is actually the Egyptian word for cat, and Miat is kitty, and people have been named Kitty or Miat. And this was what, $17 originally. Praise for Marsha Williams. As appealing as Williams' goofy, pointed-faced characters are, her most arresting talent is her storytelling. Plots unfold simply, playing a cool straight man to the zany characters and riotous asides. And that was from Book List. So I love this book. I don't want to give back the book. Must I give back the book? So this is a definite 5-star. If I didn't put 5-star, it was at least a 4 anyways. So that is my review on Ancient Egypt Tales of Gods and Pharaohs. And I lost my stick'em-wick'ems. There we go. So thank you for watching. Do remember to comment, rate, share, and subscribe. There's always room for one more at The Strange and Exotic. See you next time. Bye.